Hey everyone, and welcome to today's Explainer. We're jumping right in, because today, we're looking at a voice that literally defined some of the biggest pop anthems of an entire generation. But behind those massive hits was an artist who constantly had to reinvent herself. We're tracking the incredibly dynamic career and, honestly, the profound resilience of English singer Lauren Bennett. We'll explore her wild journey through mega-hit collaborations, high-profile girl groups, deeply personal solo work, and a legacy that really goes way beyond the charts.
Okay, let's dive into this. 5 million. Now, in an era where streaming was just barely starting to take over, hitting 5 million in pure sales was, well, it was absolutely monumental. This staggering number represents the US digital downloads for the biggest, most inescapable dance hit of the early 2010s. You probably know where I'm going with this.
That's right, 5 million US digital downloads for LMFAO's 2011 global juggernaut party rock anthem. But here's the crucial takeaway for us today. The soaring, infectious female vocal driving the hook of that ubiquitous track, that is Lauren Bennett. With just this one song, she instantly validated her massive cultural impact. I mean, she essentially provided the voice for a track that soundtracked an entire year of pop culture.
Just to put the sheer scale of this phenomenon into perspective, Party Rock Anthem topped the US Billboard Hot 100 for 6 straight weeks and reached diamond status. In her native UK, #1 for 4 weeks. And down in Australia, a mind-blowing 15 times platinum. She was at the absolute pinnacle of global music. But, to really understand her story, we've got to rewind and look at the intense hustle it took to get there.
Let's move to Section 1, starting out Paradiso Girls, and see how this all builds. Going back to 2007, Lauren's first major foray into the industry was the super ambitious project signed to Interscope Records. The Paradiso Girls were designed from the ground up to be a truly global collective. As you can see, they pulled talent from literally all over the world. Chelsea from the US, Aria from France, Charm and I from the Philippines, and both Lauren and Kelly representing the UK. It was a brilliantly diverse makeup intended to appeal to a worldwide audience from day one.
Now, things in the pop machine can move incredibly fast, and, well, they can stall just as quickly. Formed in 2007, the group dropped their debut single Patron Tequila, which featured Lil Jon and Eve, in May 2009. And it was a pretty solid start. It reached #3 on the Hot Dance Club Play chart. But the industry is notoriously fickle, right? After a second single failed to really catch fire, the group completely disbanded by 2010. So for Lauren, this was her first major hurdle, and the first time she really needed to bounce back.
Section 2, the journey of GRL.
Following the Paradiso Girls, she kept grinding. She landed these huge solo features with massive names like will.i.am and CeeLo Green. And that relentless work ethic definitely caught the eye of Pussycat Dolls creator Robin Antin. So in 2011, Antin planned a revamped version of the Dolls, which by 2012 morphed into a brand new group, debuting in a huge GoDaddy Super Bowl commercial. And through all those shifting lineups and changes, Lauren Bennett was the very first member confirmed. By 2013, the official quintet known as GRL was finally locked in.
And man, they hit the ground running. GRL quickly found mainstream, international success. They were featured on Pitbull's hit single Wild Wild Love, which really put them on the map globally. But it was their own lead single, the ridiculously catchy Ugly Heart, that proved without a doubt they had exactly what it takes to be the next massive girl group.
Now, what's really interesting here is how close they were to absolute mainstream dominance. Ugly Heart absolutely skyrocketed, peaking at #2 in Australia. They were on the absolute verge of taking over the world. The stars were perfectly aligned. But then, unimaginable tragedy struck.
Section 3, solo resilience and advocacy.
In September of 2014, right as the group was peaking, bandmate Simone Battle tragically passed away. The entire pop machine just stopped. In January 2015, the remaining members of GRL released a beautiful, heartbreaking tribute single in her honor titled Lighthouse. They dedicated themselves to raising awareness for mental health issues, desperately trying to shine a light on the struggles that took their friend. But eventually, the emotional toll was just too much, and the group officially disbanded. So once again, Lauren was prompted to reinvent herself, but this time with a profoundly different purpose.
In 2016, she returned to her solo career, but the music was fundamentally different. I want to read you this really powerful quote she posted to her Instagram, explaining the inspiration behind her 2016 solo track, Hurricane. She wrote, "After seeing my mother suffer with mental struggles for years, I then lost a friend to this. This is a story to show from my eyes what it feels like to suffer from this, but also the other perspective, to lose someone to this." This kind of raw honesty connected fans directly to the actual human being behind the glossy pop image. Looking at it, you can really see two distinct sides to Lauren Bennett's artistic life. On one hand, her mainstream group work and features like Party Rock Anthem were these upbeat, heavily produced anthems aimed squarely at global chart domination. But on the other hand, her solo advocacy work, like Hurricane, resulted in deeply personal releases. She even ensured a portion of the proceeds from Hurricane went to the campaign to change direction, to help change the culture of mental health in America. She literally used her platform for real-world impact, which is just incredible. Section 4. Lauren Bennett's Pop Legacy. Lauren never stopped creating. She briefly reformed GRL in 2016 and even formed a folk rock duo called Bennett with her brother in 2017. But sadly, her story came to a premature end. On May 29, 2026, Lauren Bennett passed away at only 36 years old. Because of the intensely private nature of her passing, the news wasn't actually widely reported to the public until weeks later, on July 6th, when her former bandmates shared the heartbreaking update. Following the news, an incredibly moving tribute was released by her GRL bandmates. They stated, "Our hearts are broken, and we cannot express how much she meant to us. We will forever cherish the love, laughter, and countless memories she gave us. Her beautiful spirit touched so many lives, and she will be deeply missed and forever loved." It's a statement that absolutely cements her lasting legacy, not just as a chart-topping singer, but as a deeply loved friend and a woman of immense resilience. So, what does this all mean? From the international phenomenon of Party Rock Anthem to the meteoric rise of GRL, to her vital mental health advocacy, Lauren Bennett's journey was one of constant reinvention and undeniable talent. As we wrap up this explainer, I'll leave you with this to think about. How do we remember the voices that resiliently soundtracked the most memorable moments of our lives? Lauren Bennett gave us the soundtrack to our greatest parties and the empathy to help us through our darkest storms. Thanks for joining me to explore her remarkable story.